What's up, people? Giovanni here. Doing some editing today. And forgive me if I'm not. I've been up since 2 o'clock. I haven't slept, and I'm really looking tired. I've been editing this video for the past hour. So I figured, hey, I go live because, well, the camera's broken. For those that care, and those that are aware, we're live for a while. Then it pops up and say, 10, 20 minutes. We're going to be dipping anyway. But today we're doing a little catch up to say hello to my new subscribers. Thanks for coming aboard. But a friend of mine brought some things to my attention the other day. Caught up with them on Facebook. Kind of thing you do these days since we're all in close contact. You really can't kick to do other things. Man, taking down a path to memory lane just made me laugh and shudder at the same time. Back in the day, a couple of decades ago, to say it that way, we were all working on a movie. And at the time, I was one of the, I was second unit as well as one of the actors on this project, so it was all cool. Until I got called away on some BS that we won't even get into right now. But just say that from the filming that we did together, he was able to, gather up his money. Now, this friend of mine, his name when we start this out was Jimmy. Me and Jimmy, we came up together pretty quick. He used to live out where I did back in the day. Everything was cool. He's from Indonesia. So by the time he was like 15, 16 years old, he moved back down to Indonesia with his family. We stayed in contact with each other for years. So by the time, we were both in our early 20s, and I was like getting my divorce the first time around, I ran into him, and he was like, yeah, man, they called me up, meeting them, him, his sister, his mom, dad, his other sister. And they called me up, and it was crazy, because I was like, you know what? I haven't seen Jimmy like forever. And they were like, plane landed. I was trying to figure out what was the inside joke, what was so funny, what was so incredibly unnecessary to like tell me. And bottom line was, Jimmy had got a sex change operation. Jimmy went from Jimmy to Jamie in a couple of months. And it was kind of weird, but it was kind of cool at the same time. So it wasn't that bad. So Jimmy got a sex change operation. We were kicking it together all day, having dinner, going to one of the local kind of fairs and whatnot. Well, him and his sister kept steadily snickering, and I couldn't figure out why. So by the time, we're having drinks later at night, 12, 12:30, something like that. And let me know, I'm like, where's Jimmy at? It's like, Jimmy's been here all day. It's like, Jimmy is Jamie. And I'm like, what? Because we were growing up, we used to do a lot of dating because we were both on the football team at the time. And, well, he used to pull a lot of girls. Didn't know he wanted to be a girl, but, to each his own. Moral of the story is, we're still cool this day. He was better than some chicks that I know. And it's scary, but yeah. Point is, Jimmy, aka Jamie, is the one that hooked me into and introduced me to the lovely world of Miss Megan Zeiss. See before. So yeah, it's been that way for a minute. But then again, I'm editing this video, so until I'm done with it, I'm not gonna say anymore. So I guess we'll deal with the development that is the madness that is me. Something. But yeah. But we're coming to you live, not because we're in demand, because I can. And so the camera have access to it present, but that's cool. The other day, because I think my dog got jacked up yesterday. So she was like doing that, keeping that crawl thing. I'm talking about you. Anyway, But things like in Indonesia, man, it's a beautiful country. If you ever get a chance to go, I suggest you go. But don't go over there messing with them girls, because not only the girls. You know they avoid bringing around Jimmy, excuse me, Jamie and me knew each other since 5th grade. So, we went through, most of grade school together. We dealt with high school. We dealt with football team. We had our share of fun. And when he had to go back to Indonesia, we're like, all right, we stay in touch. We had our communication tool and everything. But man, when I came back down a couple years later and he had a sex change operation, I mean, credits to his surgeon. He looks beautiful. She looks beautiful. Still a great person, still a great guy, although he's had his equipment changed. But Jamie will always be Jimmy to me, regardless that he's had his packaging tweaked. But down in Indonesia, between the beautiful women, the beautiful landscapes, the food. If you're a person that has plenty of foodgasms, you might want to go there one day and just take some over. Even the street food is good. It's like some street vendors. But man, I haven't been down that way, Jesus, 30 years. I wasn't being older. But that's still on my list to get back there one day and check out the news again. See how Jamie's doing, see how his sister's doing, see how the folks are doing. But yeah, we decided to go live because, well, quite frankly, like I said, it's always like, oh, content this, content that. Well, that's all we're good. We need to have time to do content. Once again, the bit I haven't been able to do it all is because I was gracious enough to have a good friend of mine that's only one of his mini cameras. The only ones he really has available are live stream cameras. He's a Twitch streamer and he's got like 5 or 6 of them. So, let me borrow one, that's cool. So, back to Jimmy and me. Jamie, to this day, last time I heard, which was, I guess, late 2019, she is taken into doing pageants and he's been winning a lot of them. And down there, it's like, he tells me, like, it's not even surprising or shocking that most of the women that are in some of these shows he's in are not, they were not genetically born women, and that's cool. But I was like, dude, like 5 pageants in the past, 2 years? Yeah, and even before he had his sex change, Jimmy has mad legs. So I'm just saying. But it comes up because, he got the money for that based off the film we were shooting in 99. Now, before, like I said, before all the drama came out of my life in 99 behind people and issues I'm not going to get into on this particular stream, oh man, it was just too crazy. So by the time I got back to the CS, I had been cut out of the studio I was working with, and the grips had been, they had been enticed by another guy on the crew who not only sold them the rest of the script we worked on at a reduced price. Oh well, and found a way to cut me out, and that's fine. I don't really mind about that too much. And I did get paid for the parts they didn't use, but all the portions that after the rewrites came down with other madness. Well, let's just say I was edited out of the piece completely, and it became a little softcore porn. Okay, it was bordering on an X type thing. It became an R-rated situation. They added a lot of nudity to it that there wasn't there before. They took out most of the gore and replaced it with digital crap. The same bottom line is they changed out the entire IP. They cut out most of the original bases of things we were doing, and that's fine. But it really cheated me out of my career in my screenplay because of all the matters that got mixed up in it. But because of that, I lost my shot at being the casting director. So all the people that I had chosen for this film to assist me that I was working with at the time, not only did I not be able to pick up with them, I had to sell my part of the property to a certain degree, had to go to court over my own work. Kid denied to either go, you either destroy the print or pay this dude that did special effects for X amount of money, like 25 grand. He was suing for 25 grand plus 10% of the back end. I'm like, no. So we decided right then and there, just destroy the print. He had already been paid and we had proof of that. We had our receipts and we brought them together, not a problem. So we just began around going, all right, how do you fix this? There was no fix. The moment I went and gone, I got cut out of my own damn movie. And because of that, we inherently lost within, what you say, 6 months' time of getting back. The deal they pulled at the table, which wasn't really a lot of money, but at the time it would have been good. They pulled only $250,000 for the part of the screenplay we already did, which was basically close to like an hour and a half. It was almost a complete film. And that had not really been edited down until they started pulling their dirty stuff. Because in a lot of ways, it's my own fault for leaving and me going where I was going. But it's what I had left for what I thought was important. Come to find out that was being misled and played by sociopaths. Yeah, plural. More than one, try three. Names and dimensions and faculty and functions and that point. Point is, by the time I got back, studio heads were looking other directions. I come to deal with an NDR document to sign. That was not cool. It got to the point where like, well, this is why you get a good entertainment lawyer. And I had one, so. But the only thing I was able to secure with my mouthpiece at that time was to keep to the original IP of the movie. I still have the original script. I still have control of the original characters. So with that said, you fast forward to now, to all that bull crap, to all the legislation. After the damn court cases over something that didn't even get released as a complete property, I come to my friend, Jamie, which like I said, from the parts that we filmed together down in Indonesia, as well as in the CS, he was able to raise enough money to get his surgery. That's the point I'm making. And it hurts my heart because they just got to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the stuff we worked on. Now, I'm not saying names because that's not important, because even if you did look at this and you came across the parts of man, it doesn't matter with full makeup, so just don't worry about that. Not to mention, for whatever reason, and these are his words, not mine, Jamie does not like anyone to see the film, even though you can check it out in certain spots. I'm not sure. I think he might have it on YouTube. You have to go through all the searching and all that. But anyway, he doesn't like for him to be seen. She doesn't like to be seen as she was then. He didn't really like me because of dude. And he figures, because like when we filmed it, she's like, oh, I kind of felt it was a little hokey. It's not. It's really good stuff. It's like an hour and 20 minutes, really good things put together, like montages. But we see, let's just say, there's a lot of parodies done towards Nightmare on Elm Street with this particular piece we did. And that's all I'll say when I give it the name, because I don't mean by talking about we bad mouth. I'm not bad mouth or anything. It's plain direction. You want to see it, find it. See the crazy looking thing, and then full makeup, it's me. Don't bother looking credits because it's not. I'm not credited it in a way under this. Anyway, the thing about it is, Jamie is also, he's a got a call from her today over Facebook. She's like, she's about to start filming the film. I'm like, okay, well, what does it mean? She has gotten herself a studio gig to do another horror film based off the one we shot 20-some years ago. Now, I wish we weren't having to deal with the whole goof and crazy lying people and screwing plans up, but we are. Because if we weren't dealing with that, I'd be on the next plane down there and take my resident spot as second unit director, whatever have you. The thing about it is, Jamie is quite the actress, and sent me a little snippet of a scene that they did. And I was like, well, that's really cool, but it's so heavy on the gore, even I was like, I had to wince about it. You know, special effects are done really good, but those subtext what he did is like, say it involves a chainsaw, about 20 or 10 gallons of fake blood, and a lot of seven. So, the point is, Jamie's making this movie, and asked me to, you know, do Star Wars for him. Like, I'm on board with that. Thing is, I'm involved in 2 other projects right now. Now, as it is, for those of you that have joined the channel, you know that I'm in the midst of doing an indie program, and that's all well and good. I'm also involved with another one, working with another friend of mine, and she's doing it. So between the 2 of us, I'm already doing a lot of drawing. As is, it's gotten to the point where between my insomnia and everything else, I don't sleep anyway, so it's gotten to where since I don't sleep, if I don't have a headache or whatever have you, or dozing off, I'll be drawn to 2, 3, 4 in the morning. I'm trying to get the IP straightened out. And for those that are aware of like such programs, it takes you after you get done with the IP. From like 7 numbers and stuff from 20-some years ago. The original IP, I'm working off of my script. And the thing about it is, I was fortunate enough, for me, in a way, I mean, because like I said, between my partners, the old indie art contract, there was a lot of time where the papers got shuffled around, in the respect that at one point I had full control of the IP, then I wasn't certain about that, then, you know, I had to check on my independent lawyer. I did have full control, so I had full control as long as it wasn't in a video form. That's what the grief was about. The only reason that was put down for the effects to Sister Moino, and it got beyond that. So, alright, Grumble Girl, what is it? He has got the symptoms. What's the matter, girl? What's the matter, girl? Okay. You freaking out for any reason and control. Brat dog losing her mind. She probably hears a bird or that damn tractor trailer across the street, whichever one comes first. Trying to possibly try to attack someone because she's insane. Let me see the paw. Oh, you remember this bright girl? Me and the little auntie were, yeah, we're live right now. See, I leave your fans have more fans than I do on Instagram, but yes, I do. Yes. Yeah, she knows the camera's on too, don't think she knows. That's when she's like, oh, still face, because she's aware that she's like, she was camera. She's like, no, not the camera. Yes. You're gonna be cool now, you're gonna start barking all day, straight up. If you're going down, you're gonna stay there. You're gonna go on the floor, you stay there, you're gonna be good. You don't want you jumping, you don't want your paw. You're gonna sleep again. Have me up to 3 in the morning. With her crazy lips. But anyway, back to case in point. Like I said, the IP still belongs to me. So, but when it got down to it, they're like going, well, we got the script. And the thing is, like I said, it started changing hands. It was like, so everything I'm working with is the original script. Partial. Here she goes. Get down there, girl. Easy. Bust yourself up. She don't like me. Gotta get into the vet. Anyway, easy on that Paul child. But so I'm going through all the scripts. Me, Elgin, two other people. And we have most of the original script, 90% of the original script. And we have all these other rewrites. And we have the sequels that were meant to be done after shooting what we shot. So we've been taking the best parts of that and go, hey, by the way, can you illustrate all this? Now, mind you, and then when I got to this, I'll say artist, I, for the most part, past few years, have been painting. And, other than working with a good friend of mine a few years ago, the Midnighter, when he was out here in Seattle, I worked on a project for him. He commissioned me to do some work. Not my best work, but he was satisfied with it, and that's all that matters. As long as the client is satisfied with your work, that's all that matters. So it was a precursor. It had been a while, and even then, I had no idea about anything until recently. I just found out about it a couple months ago. So I was already dealing with that. Everybody's like, well, if you can pick out what you want on this, which we have, but it comes around the rewrites, you go, oh God, why are you making this? Because it's one thing when you're adapting a script for a television or film. That's one thing. When you're adapting for a book, you have to illustrate the most important parts, obviously. Otherwise, it just looks foolish. Come here, little girl. Come here, Limpy. Come here, girl. Alright, when you want to get back up in the come here, girl. No? I want you to bust yourself up. Anyway. So, yeah. So, prominently, back in the 80s and early 90s, I used to work with a few of my friends. Roy and Artie, which is also a few mutual artists. He was a simple schematic of who did what. I did the covers, which basically entails I do the main character, I pass it off to Roy, and Roy would turn around and he'd do the backgrounds, and Ari, he would paint everything else, he was the colorist. So combined, we were all what you would call, one force to be reckoned with when we work together. These days, that's not the way schematic works. These days, Roy and I are at odds. We don't talk to each other. For drama that went down a couple years ago, long before all this madness hit the planet. And as for Ari and me, Ari and I, we're still good. But Ari, being the proper entrepreneur he is, and if I didn't like I told him to do and follow my own advice, probably doing it right now. He's up in Canada when he's not straight out in the deep parts of London. So he's out there. Now, Ari and I, we stay in contact today. I get through this program, I owe him a great deal, not just matters of financial, but also just being credited being a decent person for all the times I've known him, all the years that we have known each other. He's always been solid, never wavering, good people. Not a lying, backstabbing, manipulative thing, but good people. So, since he was working with me on these kind of things back in the day, he's aware of my skill. Now, with that uttered, I know, oh man, do I know. We used to work on, for those of anybody that ever used to read, and I know, I don't even know if they would make this anymore. You ever heard of a fanzine, which is like a fanzine is a fan-made magazine, generally by another shared or created property by another artist or artist for another format or company of illustrators or animators. Back in the day, we used to do a fanzine of Ethan Quest. Now, I don't even know if Ethan Quest even exists to this day. I'm not sure. But it was like, this very, very like board game type stuff. Pointed ears, whole night like that. But Ethan Quest used to kick much butt. Kind of like the Zelda video game type thing, but illustrated. And we would crank out our stuff with their permission. We never got into it, so we got the permission from somewhere. I don't remember all the details. Well, hazy. But the point is, we did that. And back in the day, this was just a bunch of teenage kids. We weren't in our 20s yet. And we would put the magazine out sometimes once a month, but when things would get tight between school and whatnot, we go by monthly. And even for a bunch of kids, we turn around and, flip at least a couple hundred copies. Now, the point of that is, Ari being the friend that he is, even though he's miles away, he still keeps me grounded and reminding me of that despite all that, when we first started doing this, the first 3 issues, I did them by myself. And by the time I pulled them in, it was already well established. And the biggest time I think we had was summer of '86. We sold something like, I don't know, it was 3,500 copies of our stuff. Which for us, that was not really bad at all. That took care of our things. It took care of, new supplies, praying for those of us that get them. I did. So we dealt with that. But as it is now, working on the IP for the movie and animating all the stuff in the script, it's taking its toll because I gotta tell you, some days it flows easy, and some days it's just pretty difficult because for several reasons. I mean, I've had to deal with this recently. Like I said, me and Roy have our issues between each other. I have an issue with him, especially with the fact, he knows better than most people that I've dealt with over a few years that, I was in a really bad place with an employer. And I won't name names because let's just say it was one of those places where you go, this is where your dreams and your hopes go to die. And at the point of me dealing with that, life was very difficult. Anyway. But earlier on, which was a few years ago, he failed to tell me in any way that he was doing this other program. And granted, because I didn't bother asking, because I shouldn't have to ask my friends to be honest with me. None of us should have to go through that questioning whether our friends are straight and legit with us, or holding on information maybe they should tell us, full crap. But the point is, I was trying to figure out that we go, don't get me wrong, back in the day, before all the stuff when we got rolling, my boy, he has a tow truck service, things like that, so it's not a glamorous thing. It doesn't make that much money, but it makes him money to take care of stuff. But all of a sudden, he came up with money for a house, and I was like, oh, man, I asked him point blank one day, get a home loan and stuff, and got a tight limit to buy. Point is, it was 19, no, correction, I'm waiting for that. Last time we did one, 26. And we worked on this stuff together. We did this whole book in detail. I worked on it 6 months straight. So, graphed it out, drew all the boards. He colored and penciled it. And, we were going to auction it off, but we never got around to that. Fast forward a couple years later, at 26. Now, like I said, I was wondering, where do you get the money for the house? It was a good house. It was like 4 bedrooms, 2-car garage, like that. He's up in Denver. So basically, he took the book that I drew, that I worked on for 6 months, and he took it and he started a program. He looked like 65 grand off of that, and he bought his home with it. Did he break me off my profits of it? No. just find out about this recently, okay? So we got into an argument a while ago, obviously. We're like someone else with each other. Even though I've known this piece of walking in trails and excrement for quite some time. He did not tell me this, quite actually, because he's a thief. That's like, hey, we're not talking to B. Let's see, man. I'm not gonna orange him by color, I'm not trying to impress with the things that I would do to him. But let's just say they will not be complimentary. He will not be taking lunch. But so he took it, and since it was not quote unquote patented, no one was able to squeak by and do this. Sell it under the wire, make his cash, do it. On the open for secret, I legally can't sue him. I don't care. Let him trip out. But I will tell you this. It was some dirty stuff. So basically, he called me up a few months back, and as he's spinning his crap, which I did not need anymore because there were enough people in my ear talking madness I didn't need, come off with lies that didn't have to be told for no reason, to derail me and screw my life up. Anyway, so he calls me, drunk, belligerent, just plain old being a straight old seaback, you know? And he confessed to all of this and let me know. Yeah, he sold the property, it's administration, whatever, and put the whole package in and sold it. Now here's the thing that makes this funny for me. It was off of me talking about, I thought you knew. How would I know that you would stab me in the back, waist deep? How am I supposed to know that, yeah, you took this property, we worked together? Now, the reason I'm not sure about it, they're not my characters, they're his characters. Yeah, they ain't fully paying for the work. That's not even an issue yet. I'm not tripping. But the point is, as he's gloating about this and confessing at the same time, he actually said this, and I'm like, really? He says to me, oh yeah, I thought you knew about that campaign and crowdfunding. Oh no. I also didn't know that he took my 6 months of work and sold it for $62,000 some odd dollars. He cut me out. I'm cool with that. Because what I'm working on now is far better than that one was. Which, like I said, which brings us like, I have a pile of scripts in front of me. Meaning that, like I said, I have an initial 8% of the original script. I have parts of the sequels that were between me and Ari. And I even have, oh, good gravy. I even have, and if you're watching the Johnny, which I doubt that you will be, but if you see this Johnny, get in touch with me, because believe me, I was a little shocked when it came across this, because there's no need to get rid of it, of course. Although a lot of stuff between what wasn't boosted, destroyed, or just flat out left behind, moved from city to city for a while, I came across a script that a good friend of mine and there were concepts on called Living Reality. So I have that, and we combine that into the book too. So there's all these different things. And yes, if I actually use that, John, your name will be credited inside the book, so don't worry about that. So it gets to the point where you're down with your people. You see who's been loyal, see who hasn't been loyal. And it just gets crazy because you know what you did to get away from all the madness that these people drag you down into. You worked hard at keeping things straight on the business at hand, based off of past reflections, and coming out of betraying. And now, this is again, this is the irony part that made me laugh and go, are you freaking kidding me? As he calls me out, loaded, boasting, bragging about his very pull-off and being a deceitful, condescending, lying, true person. He had the audacity to ask me if I would work with him on a new campaign and illustrate the book for him. So after I stopped yelling, and of course I hung up, but after I stopped yelling for what probably took me 20 minutes of, I can't freaking believe you came to me like that, let alone didn't tell me about this earlier so I can take care of things, and gotten out of the hole I was placed in, and I was trapped with everything that was going on at the time. Because of that, that's like one of the other things that really ended our association, our work relationship, our friendship. Um, because here's the thing, while it is quite clear that I will not at all ever work with the boy again on any property or project, especially a particular campaign, if he needs it done, to do it himself. But it reminded me of another friend of mine, and I'm not getting into particulars. You know, one night he was showing his ass talking way too much madness, and it got to the point where I'm like going, you know, I need a friend right now. I don't need somebody down talking me about this madness. It just made me look at our relationship differently. And we haven't really talked since because he showed himself to be a liability, not an asset. And here's my problem. I want to incorporate him and his artwork into mine, but for some reason I have a very bad feeling. If I did, it would probably be something that would make me far more angry than I already am at him. And going completely left field to madness. I'm like, no. Okay. So I left it alone and I leave it alone. So I got Ari on the phone the other day, except on Facebook actually. He's somewhere in Essex right now, and believe me, it's one neighborhood I'm ready to get back to. Um, and, he's basically, texting me from the pub. And of all things, like I said, he's like my, kind of like my, in place of other words, he's like kind of like my mystery mod. Always like, someone's got my back. If he can't be here physically, he's there if you like mentally. He does not discourage much. And he reminded me yet again that, yeah, so did, like I said, mostly I did covers. And that's pretty much how I'm doing each panel, or doing each one almost like a cover, which means I generally have one of the backgrounds. I don't generally do that. It's not generally my part in it. But as it is, with the way the script is, there's certain things that you can create and fabricate that don't even exist. Well, they exist, but not to the scale that they're presented. At least I hope not. That would be horrifying. Without even showing that stuff right now, because I'm not ready to make a present public display of anything else. I show pretty much some of the parts from the upcoming book, like 7 months ago. If you haven't seen that video, go back to some graphic bits. So yeah, we worked on a lot of stuff. He reminded me, to do my covers. So basically, it might take me a little longer to finish. Because as it is, I'm sitting down between myself, putting a few of my really close associates on this. I'm going to pick out the rest that hasn't already been animated, illustrated. I'm we pick out the best. There's like 12 separate scripts. Out of that, I'm probably going to get 7. Now, I've animated a large portion of it. I've illustrated the pieces, but I'm far from being done because I haven't narrowed down which voice to use. And then this becomes a little annoying, but it's necessary to flush out what you're doing. And since it's in manga, I like learning as I go because, I grew up watching the classes. I grew up watching Kimbo, Speed Racer, Gigantor. That's the stuff I grew up doing in grade school. Stuff I made money off of selling in high school. Commission work is not new to me. The difference is these days, what we're doing, we're adapting the script, and we're trying to, when I say we're trying to, between me and Elgin, we are trying to convey in illustration what we were doing with the film, and what we did with the film. Now, when all that was happening back then, Ari he was the main director because a lot of stuff we were doing, I was in front of the camera more so than being behind the camera. So, between heavy makeup, multiple shots, Ari pulled a lot of time editing. He even helped me with some of the makeup effects I couldn't figure out on my own. So, we did all this. But even then, I had to storyboard things. So I storyboard everything. Here's what I'm dealing with. I still have 30% of the storyboards I created. Now I have to take those, adapt them to what I'm working on, and keep pressing forward. Now, that's another thing that I found out that I'm doing this the way we did it before back in the day. You wouldn't. See, we didn't have crowdfunding when we were doing our fanzine back then. You made it, edited it, you put it out. That was it. And depending on who we were dealing with, what comic book store or newspaper outlet, that's when you turn around and go, okay, you get your pre-orders, they're going to go up. You send 30 here, 50 there, whatever have you, the number that you have going down, and that's how you dealt with stuff. So if your stuff didn't pick up the month before, you still might have that, that verbal contract, send me 10. But if you did do well, all your orders come across the board, like, well, 100 over here, 50 there, 80 there, that all adds up. So like I said, we have crowdfunding. We had a basic deal with a good friend of ours had print shop. Come here, girl. Come here. Excuse me. You okay, little girl? Okay. Okay. Easy. Fat girl and messed up. Come here. Come here. No, you want to. You can have anything. So, like I said, we had it where, we had X amount of copies going out to different places. And we started getting heavy windfall come summertime. But if we had crowdfunding like you have now, it's the same rules for me as they were then. You wouldn't release a half print fancy. You wouldn't put that out. You wouldn't come up with like 2/3 of the story and the advertisement you got that month and release it in a whole. Well, because as I had talked to a few of the friends that had worked on this, that assumed I knew about crowdfunding. One of the things that I refuse to do that they are doing is that, you don't always have to have a complete body of work to start your crowdfunding. But for me, it strikes me to be a little lazy to do that because sometimes, not often and not for long, true professionals, you need professionals that you know you are. You know to make the product complete. At best, the only thing you might do is like, well, you've done all your drawings, all your illustrations. And if you like me, you're doing a piece in black and white to do it in color later. That's the only part you have to do later is maybe add color. If anybody comes off with like half of their project done first without really going, wait a minute. Because sometimes you have some people that come in there, they got half of what they're working on, but they don't finish it, and now they crowdfund moves, and that just makes it look like a flake, and I ain't playing that. So the reason I haven't started any crowdfunding is simply because I have not done enough illustrations to this to put it out there and go, the X amount of time to get this finished. No, I won't put it out until I'm done with the primary drawings of it. So this thing is running up to a couple of like already past 50 pages. But I thought reduce them down and shrink them up. I don't know. So that's not the issue. But the issue is I still control the IP, and between a few hosts on the internet and a few people in certain places, not naming names, but like that's so fast until get stuck out there. But some people in terms of they have had and do have my work, and they more than made it clear that they wanted to make me an offer for the IP. Now, I know I'm a bit crazy about certain things. There's just no way I can sell the IP. But I'm aware right now that even as it is, they did this voting towards that based on just the sample pages that passed their way. And they made me an offer, not a lot, and but it also wasn't flushed out. So like, we're not gonna do pennies. It's gonna be quite lucrative down the line, rolling rights. But that spark of interest did spur me to definitely continue forward with this. Now, I did take a few weeks off because Walmart first never had a paper. Because, like I said, if you can't sleep, that's one thing. And when you know you can't sleep, that's what works. I work a lot at night, especially around 1, 2 in the morning. That's the prime time when some of the madness comes out. And since other parts I'm already scripting and know it there, I have to look over the script and lose parts and we're doing those. And it's those portions, and then I have to go back into the bit, check out what's going on, and really determine what gets cut away. Some of that stuff that's in there was always been to, name the trilogy. I was surprised it still existed. It was locked in between the look reality stuff and some other demon dance script. So, with all that, we said to ourselves, hey, right now, we got the IP and we have a character. It might take some time. I really got deeper into this. There is no, I could, but I could take this stance, and me and already discussed it. I could quite easily email and or fax in the images I have, and you can color them all. But with the way it is with things, you don't want to take the opportunity somebody to gain your stuff before you get it out. So I'm not doing it right. Person I had doing the penciling, well, he had to roll. So that's what that is. So basically, and from the gate, I had to illustrate everything and I had to eat it too. Unless again, I think they're working on that. But we work the IP, check their characters, we do all stuff. Now, once again, since this was originally meant to be a film, there are a lot of things that were removed from the original copy. Even before we start dealing with drama from the court over it, there was a lot of things that we took out because A, we were getting sued by a special place, so before we even got the point going, which didn't really say anything at all, we had a point of removing certain things because see, that's the thing. I will not do this again. There's no need to if they don't like it. But we actually had, back then we had test screenings for our stuff. And the people that we had test screening for, they were like, oh, they deemed certain parts too gory, so we removed that. Screw that. You know, doing the graphic novel, we're not watering that either. I'm not watering that either. And if I have to do many characters, which I do at your own, they're not there to be watered down. They're there to be putting all the graphic glory, but in black and white. There will go PC parts going down the line, but to take away the story as it's supposed to be doesn't have to happen that way now because A, it's not a film video. It doesn't have to be filmed at all. So not only do I have to deal with actors, I don't have to deal with fake props, fake blood, scattered locations. But I say it that way in a lot of ways I still do. You still have to make these environments that are a part of the story and draw them. And that becomes a pain. Many of the artists out there, you know as well as I do, some days you go into your room, whatever, park, wherever you choose, throw down your pencil and pad and script out the environment or the narrative of the person, animal, whatever it is, to your beautiful rendering. Some days you can barely do a straight line to the end of the lollipop because just certain things throw you off. Well, when you have an entirely different mythos that's based off of folklore, crime dramas, and all kind of madness, and I'm not going to get into right now because I believe it might stealing my neighborhood any further than they already have been. But when you do that, you're working with a situation going, well, I have indeed gathered up the way the descriptions of our characters are. And since the way I'm drawing some of the characters are based off of people that I knew that were to be the actors in the film, and even that you flip that again because you turn it into manga. Because why not? So style is manga, story is what it is. But once again, as the IP are caught in awareness of going, well, you have gone through this madness before, and so has some of my co-creators involved in this. And they know that, well, the only thing new is to do the project. It's a new project. Now, past couple of days, I gotta tell you, haven't been well. Migraines. Insomnia's doing this thing that's a given. Just fall asleep when you can, so tune in how many pounds on that I've gotten before now. Four. Pardon. So 4 and I'm supposed to do 15, that's a little impressive. So you work about going, okay, cool. So we gotta get some of the content videos put out here on my computer, but honey, haven't had time to edit everything because I'm doing this. So like I said, after Roy did his boat stream and whatnot, he was like, well, okay. How does a person lie to your face, apologize, and then go off of you all at the same time? You know, that's Roy Lane is crap. So, well, yeah, he did that. So, after insulting me, robbing me, making a But when fall for himself on work, we kind of have that, you know. Even before I found out about that, we've already had some downplay behind things. Once again, it still strikes me funny that he would ask me to work with him after revealing that he stole. So, yeah, that's okay. So, like I said, involved another IP that I'm working on. The characters are not complaining. I mean, they're mine as a say that I created them, but I'm handing them over to another artist for them to finish up their story. Which, see, I don't know what the story is. I spoke with her husband and made it clear that it's some crazy, interwoven, second sight kind of crazy, loose thinking kind of narrative of sci-fi and horror, a little bit of comedy. I can live with that, so I created characters based on that. Part of it. Based on that design, based on that approach to things. And I had a chance to read facts on it, but before I could even get up from that and go, okay, these characters are done, they're ready to sit to like the other person who's going to work on it. I come back to my graphic novel and check out what I already got. I get hit to the point where, say, I already did a part that it's done, it's rendered, it's ready to go, it looks good to me. But then I'll get another idea and go back and do that one again. Don't get me wrong, I didn't destroy the original, I still got that too, but so it has to do multiple campaigns, so I kind of have two of the same book, with variations where one's mildly graphic to one where it's extremely graphic and highly, highly deeply and completely drenched in violence and other madness that it needs to bring forth the narrative of the story. But it's the high levels of violence and, well, I think it's a better word, less intent to drive the narrative of what's going on in certain parts of the story. So I have drawn that, and I have. When it comes down to some of the pure carnage of the story, you kind of go, well, am I being foolish and careless, playful, and dangerous? No, I'm just drawing what I can to fit what goes in this book. Now, like I said, there are certain things that we removed from our script when we first did it, whether it been for a matter of cost or cutting out the time, which is the fact that when we were trying to do this, certain things that could be done with practical effects are one thing, and we worked on some stuff. And CGI, well, CGI wasn't really out yet. It wasn't really that good. So we could afford certain things. We used, like, if you ever heard of anybody out there who used digital juice, you know it's a great product. And they had these little things called jump backs. And we had no digital library, so basically we spent a good $550 for all that stuff. It's like audio, royalty-free stuff, various jump backs with videos. So we had all that, and we used that stuff. Man, it's a pity we had to be pushed back behind sociopaths and pull us away from the project and all that madness. But with all the different things that we took out, it seemed that we are animated. And I say we because on days when I'm having typically trying to figure out an angle for something, despite the years of experience I've had as an artist, illustrator, and drawing for other people, commissions, whatever have you, murals, all that madness. Some days when I get old, because Ari, that man's his video IP, his Facebook ID, it will change every other month. Sometimes you catch his original page. Sometimes you catch one of his posted from somewhere. How many phones and computers do we have? Doesn't matter. Point is, they don't have been like that, and they can't really figure out some of the curves of the situation. They call me out. They will text me out of nowhere. They remind me of certain things I've done and certain things I've been able to do and have done. And it gets me over that hump. So, in that, once again, my friend, I thank you. As always, you have been a gentleman and a scholar. And when you find my books in the back of your freaking car, let me know. Text me that because I need that book. Yeah. We did a graphic novel together while we were two about roughly so roughly about 15 years ago we did a piece together. And my copy long since burned by the X-Men. So he became the most beautiful barbecue because she was psycho. But so the book we had, I worked on it with him. I drafted it all out. It was a beautiful piece of work in my speaking. But there's only like really three, well at the time there were only three copies of it in existence. I had one. No, I had two. He had one. My personal copy, destroyed by the ex-wife, mentioned that. Third copy, well, it met with a bad accident, which means it still exists, but let's just say that it met with an accident dealing with salt and paint. So even if you could take it, go through the pages that are recognizable, it would probably take you about 2-3 months to redraw everything. But the point is, of the parts I do have that are legible that you can see, I'm trying to pull those apart and piece them together in certain scenes that I have for the story. And yes, we discuss it later. So, to wrap this up, campaign, as it gets closer and I get closer to finishing up the book, I'll make sure that all the links and things are where they need to be. Whether it be Instagram, Twitter, thanks for the book, all that. You guys will know. Believe me, I tell you, it's the kind of work that borders between Heavy Metal Magazine and Hellraiser the Real to movies where you go, yeah, what? But yeah, it's necessary. Like I said, there is the point in this where we're working off the script, and between the parts that have already been done and going into editing, there's still a matter going, well, which story, which of these other 12 stories out of good God, 25, which ones, these main 12 stories that we know we want to use, there's only 7 we need, but I've just illustrated one part of 8 different stories. And well, that's actually not true, it's 4 parts of 8 different stories. But in that, all the madness that exists, I still have to go back and do a solo run through these scripts and decide what's going to get put on the back burner for later campaign versus what's going to be dealt with right now. Because every time I get done one bit, somebody else is in the project go, well, that's really good and all that, but let's do this one. No. And it's not that it's not good material. It's just it takes away from want to get it done. I want to get it done as soon as possible. But some of the things that they get done as I go on, I would need a staff. Like I said, me and Roy went out. Ari, he's in another freaking country. Go, for love sake. He's out in London, Washington, next to him, and working on other projects. But, tomato, that comes a little later. Doing it as it is. So, with that being the only one that's doing all the main illustrations as well as the background, I had to take the time to go through the scripts and check out what's the best thing for the book. So I'm gonna need a couple of days on that. Once that's done, I can proceed, move forward, slam it out, and that's when the campaign will truly begin. And those that have been with me and challenge those same things on like Facebook, Instagram, or even Twitter, you would know that we do a little bit of animation here in the channel. And after the campaign gets started, we'll have plenty of new stuff, new content, leaning towards what is insightful. Something that we've already done a bunch of deals for it. And, we're ready to release them, but just not yet. So, as it is, like I said, working on 2 different campaigns, possibly pull into a third one. And if that's the case, that's fine. I'm like everyone's like, that's when I get a third campaign going, I'll tell you the next question going. Yeah, I'll lay my pencil. I'll bring my pencil to the party and we'll have fun. We'll make something really great. Yeah, like I said, it's our time. Let's do something. We will. We'll do it. We'll do it today. Great. We'll use the pencil, the pen. Do what you gotta do. We're not punching from not sleeping. We do that. But yeah, so we're gonna take care of that. I have to go back to editing my main video and get it ready. And once again, to my new subscribers, thanks for coming aboard. Pity none of you guys came out to the live stream today, but it's like, something for the moment. And depending on what the mood is later on, I might go live again, considering on the camera I have to do videos is a live stream camera. So guess what? The DMs are open. You want to talk later on tonight? You hit me up today. I might go live again. But as it is, for those of you still involved with the stuff, and those of you still involved, thanks for your support, thanks for your help. As we are, so my crew, guys, dudes, we need to draw faster. But some things can be rushed. So as it is, we'll take care of that. We maintain what we're trying to bring forth in this project. To bring those out there that have actually purchased my work before and have either commissioned me on, like I say, a mural, or like I said, had another month earlier, would be in a much better place. But I've been commissioned on other things that were not crowdfunded like this, but the ones I'm involved with now, yeah, I bring forth a proper product for sure. But this stuff is writing about what has to go which way. So we do what we do, and we are here to make sure that we relay the best possible story we can to our fans, to our readers that we already have, past as well as present. we are making sure that you get the kind of artwork that you're used to from, you know, whole viewing experience. And of course, my favorite, we pride ourselves with not putting our name on anything until it's complete and until it's checked over. So between myself and Elgin, we are doing our best to make sure that our American logo book has certain points to it. Of course, specific points, to be precise. That the content is well controlled visually by script alone by reading it, but of course, rather vast amount of characters you have to dispose of in the story. Now, to be honest, like I said, yeah, we're not going off the previous script from years ago. But we also sat down and made new pages specifically for the graphic novel itself. And out of that, well, came up with new angles that have A, been very intriguing and fun to illustrate, and B, also been very disturbing while being twisted, illustrating to match when we were writing and we were relaying. You know, at the time when we sat down and wrote this, it was like, okay, we didn't think the matters were going, that's really out there, it's too much. No, we wrote what fit into the story we already started on with illustrations and everything. So, doing that, we added to the story, we built it up. We're not trying to take it out, we built it up, get it straight, flush out all the characters, flush out their appearance, and we've been doing it. Now, the problem is when you've gotten to the point where you're like, okay, everything's left, first part of the script, the first 5 major arcs of the story, I've already illustrated those. They're done. Except like 1 or 2 bits to fill in the gaps in between, certain parts of the narrative just might need, like, a waterfall or a bird, some crap like that that's in the story that doesn't necessarily have to be done, but it needs to be done for matter and relevance of visual interpretation. Just writing about it is not enough because these characters are not normal run-of-the-mill characters. They're not, it's a bald eagle, no, it's a bald eagle with AK-47. I don't know, just weird stuff, but it's there. So we worked on these things together to flesh out the characters, made them as real as they need to be, but with no current agendas of office and politics. Nothing about anything that's relative to all the toxicity of today's world. Like I said, this story is set in a type of setting where it can be totally toxic and it holds up on its own. Thing is, it's just that sitting back with like-minded individuals such as myself and other artists that have been involved in this, whether it's major or even monumental or minute, they're still there, and we've worked on these things together, bounced ideas off of each other, collaborated to come up with a narrative that is not only cohesive in all ways, where there's no plot holes, and where you go, okay, I get it. That a lot of people would like to try to attempt to say that it lacks diversity. I was like, if you pay attention, it's full of diversity. It's just not what you expect it to be, and if you thought it was, it's not. So, for the few people that I do trust that have seen what I worked on Cisco in certain points before this, they fully understand the script. They've seen illustrations. They've either read or have a copy of various parts that I already did already, so they're aware. And for those of them that were aware, I were even of all of it, we broke bread. We kept together. We worked on this stuff and we fleshed it out. Problems. That's really it. So it comes out like taking heed of what we've done, keeping the work going, and trying not to make each other crazy because between close force isolation, because of the coup and all the madness, it's not like we can like, I'll go over there and pick up the stuff and drop the zombie. No, it's not that. It becomes a whole circle jerk of I draw one part, I mail it or fax it to you, then he goes from there, it gets emailed over here. No, that's too much madness. So sometimes it's just like I gotta take a minute back from it, ease off because I have to go to a simple detail. And it's not because I'm perfectionist by anything, it's because that's the way the story goes. It's the narrative. And I know what it is because I've been working on it since the beginning. So I take that time to go, okay, this is what we're working on. We're going to do our best to bring out, well, the feature that I got denied more than once because other people interfering with the production company, interfering with my personal life. So we are going to be going forward with this, do the campaign. So for those of you, like I said, that have joined me that are new, thanks for coming forward. If you have any ideas for videos that you'd like me to check out or do recreate, DM's always open. You know, hit me up anytime. It's in there. As for to one of the queries from Cynthia 7, yeah, we are working on an animation to be done from this property once the campaign is done. Rather, sure the campaign is going to be done too. And once that comes down, yes, we are considering doing animation. See, Silky 7 is one of my first subscribers. Not like I think he is like either my first, he's one of the top 10 subscribers he's been since the beginning. So when it comes to right now, he hits me up and he's like, I'm like, alright, cool. I do like a video. And he's like this crazy guy, but he's also a very slightly misunderstood writer. He has emailed me quite a few drafts, and I gotta tell you, I'm considering illustrating the rest of what we worked on. Like I said, one of the campaigns I'm working on is, but not the way you believe, because quite frankly, um, I really haven't done too much work on that part of the campaign because I don't have to. He's also a decent artist in the way too. Thing is, I'm just more of an advisor, like more of a technical advisor on the administration. So, you know, I understand that it's going to get a lot of reports done. That's both for me, my project as well as his. Because like I said, it's a little chain of event thing right now. But it goes away with him. I will draw something. I'll email it to him. It goes to the third party and it goes right back around. From me, to him, to them, and back to him. This sometimes takes forever. So, as it is, I did a concept page for him, faxed them to him. He did whatever he did with it, sent them out to whatever that be. Now, I think that's too much. It is. I mean, I'd rather do my own backgrounds than have to send this stuff everywhere and then find what I do. How about this way? We did 5 pages the other day, 2 months ago. Just 5. 5 pages, principal character, with backgrounds, pencil, whatever. I did the main thing. I did the all main characters, the boards, a little bit of background. He did a little background, a little more stuff, a little less stuff up there. It was, and remains very, very disturbing. However, it's done properly, and it's also done with clarity. So it's not irresponsible endeavor. But when you get done, after it's gone from me to him, he takes sometimes 2 or 3 days to do his backdrop, add extra characters to the thing. By the time we got through with those 5 pages, that was 30 days, a month to do 5 pages. I don't have that kind of time. So, as it is for those of you that have asked me about the graphic novel, yes, the graphic novel is still in swing, and yes, it is still going to be done in crowdfunding. And with that, yes, I will definitely have all the intel when it's time before it's launched and as it's launched. But understand it might take me a little bit of time because as of recently, as of a few days ago, I'm the only one on this project now. I have to do 95% of everything. So, all the illustrations, the ink and the pencil, various mod makeups, that's just me. It's not bragging, it's not boasting, it's telling me what it is. I am on this endeavor for myself. And until again that chance to catch freedom, I'm gonna be a little bit. So to my new subscribers, welcome aboard, thanks for coming. As for my loyals, which once again, for those that contacted my DMs going, when are you gonna go live? Well, I'll be going live for a while because the camera's done. But for you guys, thanks for sticking around. On this channel, certain things we do, certain things we don't do. One of the things we choose not to do is drama. Drama is a waste of time. I don't deal with it if I can. You drag me drama, just watch it back and do that. But the point is, we don't deal with that. We don't do politics here either. So, no. We don't pull that either. So, and if you want the latest and the straightest, greatest news on what is current on the tube, go check out Death News. He's got a great commentary. I watch him and I want to check out, see what madness is going on with Nikita Dragon or whatever. Not that those are topics I check, but just I'm saying, we don't do those kind of stories here. Because everybody else is doing it. We do other things, do specifics, but yes, the project is going forward. We're going to take care of that. The closer we get to completion of the last animations themselves, we will let you know well ahead of time before we start doing the rest of the crowdfunding and get on the way. So we really missed to worry about it. Be taken care of and with that. One last thing about Jamie in Indonesia. Jamie, my former co-star, actor, and good friend, which once again, like I said, she is now becoming, I guess, a cast actress, part of an acting crew of cast characters that work on various local stuff, like TV dramas, like the thing that she's now in these horror movies. Now, you gotta bear in mind, once again, Jamie, like Arnie Ward, hell of an artist, and like I told you, we got 8 billion content each other again, so he's on a campaign that I may be starting. Now, here's the best part about Jamie. Jamie is an exceptional artist, and despite the levels of, whatever it is the levels that she has in her life, despite the madness, the gender identity, the hormones, at her core, she is still the friend I always knew. And now she is going to become an actress on the regular, and that's great. And I know you probably will see this later, my friend. Yeah, I will start working on the principal drawings for your stuff this Saturday. As long as you make sure that when you start principal photography on your show, you might be nice enough to send me a few clips and I'll give you a free shout out for sure. So guys and gals, unless you know what you are. Other things in the underworld, I also learned from the MP, PG Dillon, MPA. Thanks for stopping by, or rather you will be by on a later bit. But yeah, we're going to be working on this stuff. When we get things going, we can get going. In the between time, thanks for coming by. Appreciate you. And when you catch us on the rerun, because once this camera is off, it becomes content. Another content. Yeah, rerun. Maybe next time we'll catch you live. Once again, coming live, not because we demand, but because I can. Even Giovanni. And I'm out, and I gotta go back to editing the Megan video. That's over there. The video, I have to finish editing. I gotta get on that. So, gotta get back to my computer. Gotta do my editing, do what you gotta do. So, till next time, y'all. Peace out. Love you much. Right. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Peace.